Good evening, good people, and welcome to another presentation of the Final Fantasy Randomizer FFR Winter Dab Tournament. I am Saracen, joined in the booth today by Shadow MRT 241. How you doing, Shadow?
I'm doing fine.
Alright, so we have Chanigan versus the Hangry Canuck going on. Should be a very interesting match. Just double checking with the runners that they're ready here because we had a little bit of technical difficulties, so gonna check with them about the gate drop here real quick.
Yep.
So for those of you not familiar with our Winter Dab tournament, this is a double anti-bingo. What you do on this is each runner picks one row, column, or diagonal for the other person to complete. That row is or column or diagonal is required, and those are marked in their respective colors. In addition to that required row, the runners must also complete one other row, column, or diagonal of their choice. So they can intersect, they can be totally different, whatever. You just have to pick what's going to make sense to you. Alright, so the gate has been dropped. We should be seeing them coming in real quick here.
Yep. I got for magic.
Level 1 Fade
and
Cure 4.
And Temper in Black.
Alright, so I'm thinking that everybody's going to be very happy with this magic. Hangry Canuck may feel a little bad having checked Black Magic first. That Cure 4 is red learnable, which is going to be very nice for
Promotion locked,
both.
though.
Promotion locked for the red mage, yep. Glove plus 4, always a nice little pickup for everybody. I always value the early giant plus equipment for absorb. The early absorb matters a lot. Chanigan jumping straight over to Sarda here.
Do we have access to the thing so we can see the blur things?
I would have to pull up the seed. What I do see here is we've got a fighter red-black for Hangry Canuck, and then Chanigan, I think, was black belt, white, black for the setup.
Yeah, it's
so,
black belt, white, black.
both runners opting to take one none, which is very helpful for the experience. Chanigan also heading straight over to the sages here, getting the rod for his troubles. So while Garland is getting pasted by Hangry Canuck, let's just quick go over what we've got for our required rows. So row 2, which is required for Canuck, kill 4 different slimes, or 15 total slimes. So that would be slime, muck, ooze, something, there's one other one. So if you kill all 4 of them, that covers you.
The metal slimes.
Yep, slimes are slimes. Scum, that's the other one. Thank you, Rubes.
Yeah.
Visit Bahamut, if you were planning to promote, great. That works out well for Hangry Canuck, who probably is going to want to promote at some point. I believe Fight Bahamut is on in this flag set. So
I can double check that.
At the very least, we've got a Hall of Dragons to get through, which is another consideration with that. Cast a spell of every element on enemies. That one can be really tricky. Having all of the elements is a big knowledge check for the players. However, I think that is detailed to some degree in the bingo board for them. Take one none. Obviously, both players took a none. You have to keep it through the entire seed. You can't just take it and reset and reform your party. Last one, kill 3 different giants or 12 total giants. So you got giant, frost giants, fire giants. I think those are all 3. Or 12 total giants. So just like the slimes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how many giants there actually are. Also, yeah, Fight Bahamut is off.
That was a Masa from the King. That's
Ooh,
that's a good find.
very good find. Although I see they're rolling -4.
Well, Amasa's Amasa. You know,
Sure.
it's this early in the seed, especially I'm thinking for Chanigan, that's going to be a good way to get the black belt's initial levels.
Alright. Well, I do have the seat open if we want to list off the blessings.
Go ahead.
So the fighter has +7 luck and thief luck growth, I assume. It just says thief luck.
Mm-hmm.
And then Malice is -3 HP. Black Belt has +20 strength, +40 HP, and -15 agility.
That's kind of a nothing burger.
Yeah. Red Mage has 20% to hit, and can wield the forehammer, but has -15 strength. And let's see here. White Mage has +100% EXP growth and can wield the Excalibur with a -5 luck. And then the Black Mage has +15 vitality, +20 agility, and starts off with 20 less HP.
Okay.
Ooh.
Well, we are starting to see some moves here. There was a slab from the TNT turn-in. Some unfortunate obeisance to the Hooray Dwarf. Release him from his misery, please. Chanigan's getting that slab translated. Hangry Canuck just going over all of the checks that Chanigan has already done as far as the free stuff.
Are you telling him to kill the Hooray Dwarf?
Release him from his one-word misery. Alright, Chanigan off into the marsh, going over the rest of the required bingo cards here. We've got Defeat Kraken with Brack. That can be Kraken 1 or Kraken 2. Obviously, you have better odds on Kraken 1.
Mm-hmm.
Check 3, carry 2 floor chests. I can't think of a single time in an actual race that I've checked chests in Topher that weren't in a short Topher, free room. So... Even the Masa chest, even when the Masa has been sent home, I never check any of those chests. So that's always an interesting one. I don't even necessarily remember where all 3 are. I think there's like 2 just underneath.
There's actually 4 chests on that floor.
No,
I actually do know where all 4 of them are.
Oh, snap.
Welcome to I Full Cleared Vanilla.
Purchase a spell from levels 1 through 7. Pretty straightforward. You don't even have to promote necessarily for that because there are a couple pity spells on that. Open every chest on TFC and Mermaid floors. So, just a quick reminder for this flag set, the Fiend dungeons aren't actually like hard required. You have all of your orbs for free. And so, when you're thinking about, how am I going to approach all of life, a lot of the time you're thinking, well, how am I going to avoid going to these dungeons that don't have anything of interest? So having to go into sea, which means finding Oxyale, and going to TFC and Mermaid floors, that's a pretty big time sink.
Yeah, it is. Also, we have a pop grind on Canuck's side.
Yeah, I see that.
What is this? Also, I'm trying to remember with the bingo board. The red one is... I'm trying to remember how it works.
Red is Chanigan's row, and teal is Canuck's required row.
Alright.
Last one, step on every Cardia Island tile on the overworld. So that is detailed walk-in simulator.
It's similar to the, I assume I don't know if it's on this bingo board necessarily, because I think there's a couple options. There's the grand tour of walking around all of Sky 1. Or not Sky 1, Mirage 1. So I assume it's similar to that. But that one's just walking around the room instead of, walking on every tile. I don't think I've ever walked on every tile of Cardia, because, there's those 3, there's what, 2 locations that are useless?
Yeah, there are two. We're just talking about the overworld tiles for this one, so like you don't actually have to go into the
Yeah.
holes. But
But you have to land on the bits though where they are though.
Well, one of them is the same island as Bahamut's Cave, so that one's not so bad. I'm just here for the Prime Loot asking, are they forced to have the same starting square? No, they just chose to. So part of the strategy with this is you choose a row for your opponent, which is marked as far as what required rows each of them have. Row, column, or diagonal, of course. But the other thing is you have to complete a row of your choosing, or column, or diagonal. And so taking a none is actually a pretty easy way to handle that. It's something you do at character creation. You're going to get more experience distributed to your party. So the fact that they both did it is not a big deal. Now, Hangry Canuck was required to do so because he has to do row 2. But, for Chanigan, that's just basically a free square given the party composition he was going for.
Yeah. I'm going to step away for a second to go refill my drink because I can feel my mouth getting dry.
Phoenix pointing out, surprised nobody forced R1, the hammer kill for lobsters and scorpions and staff kill for cobras and asps. That's, the lobster one scares me. Like, you actually have to melee swing these weapons. Certainly that's better for, I would say, Canuck in this case, having a fighter, going with that route. Chanigan taking an unfortunate wipe out of ice. That is, always a rude floor. The other thing Phoenix mentioning is the required kills of fiends, and to that I say defeat Kraken 1 is the more annoying of the two, because you can do defeat Lich with Cake in Topher, because you can do that on Lich 2.
Right.
So if I'm thinking like a Chanigan here, he's got that first square of row 4 for free. He's got a black belt in his party. That black belt is going to hit 25. It's probably going to hit higher than that. No big deal there.
It's a black belt.
It wouldn't surprise me if row 4 was just a consideration.
I mean, it looks like he might be doing that soon.
So the downside of row 4 is the long walk of Canaria to Elfland without saving. Now, it's not a big deal.
There's also the hit 50.
Right. Hit 50, again, if you've got a black belt, that may as well be free. You're going to find a grind at some point, it'll be fine. We've already see him, the Chanigan is going after the eye, getting those initial levels, and it's, this black belt is already on the rocket ship of success. Meanwhile, Canuck's still doing this pop grind.
Mm-hmm.
Canuck saying in the race room before the race that this is his first restreamed race in quite a while. I think his last races that were restreamed were during the spring tournament. So maybe, this is just a comfort location as far as the flags are going. It's fine, Pop grind is a viable strategy. It's just, kind of an interesting one to choose when you have access to the whole world.
Yeah.
We've got a ribbon +5 on Chanigan's side.
Ooh, nice right.
Or -5, sorry.
Yeah, true, yeah. Yeah, Hall of Giants. Yeah, you could go check to see what the first encounter off the power reset is in the Hall of Giants. Yeah, you might get 4 Gasties.
Or like Shumbabi did last night with bracking Tia 1 repeatedly in the Hall of Giants or Hall of Dragons. That was fantastic. Hats off, Shum. That was the biggest brain. JLo and Shum both saying C4 is a possibility. You got the full lap of Ice 2, which Chanigan has not done the full lap yet, but I mean, finish your grind, walk out, save, and watch everything run away from you while you do your lap, and then reset. Not a big deal. Open every chest on TFC and Mermaid, kind of annoying. Again, that Oxyale requirement, the time sink of going to sea.
He's already gonna have to do that one though.
Yeah, that's right. That is his required row. Hit 50, no big deal. Promote. The bad part about that is finding the tail. But the after 25, you do actually have to get your mages up there too. So.
Yeah. Yeah, Canuck's just been killing giants for the past gosh knows how long.
Yeah, and chat pointing out we'll need the key for not having a thief, so that's also an unfortunate thing.
Yeah. Although isn't the Topher doors? Oh yeah, with TFC, yeah.
BFC, always a pain.
Yep. Have you ever had anything good land in TFC?
Well, last spring tournament, TFC was a popular place for the random location item to land. So sometimes you get your required items there, and that's always a fun time.
I'm trying to remember what episode on the 2021 on. Because I've been watching. I've watched all of 2019 and 2020's spring tournaments.
So Canuck picking up the cube in the shop at Provoca.
Yeah.
Chat also pointing out, yeah, we do have the Oxyale. There's a lot to go over at the beginning of one of these.
Yeah, I was going to say, with having the airship and
tracking.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, gosh, and with the airship and stuff just all free already, it's like...
Chanigan with the punch cannon online against this eye.
Apparently they might have squint, Rebels says. Rebels?
Squint is a concern. I think Chanigan is relying on having the ribbon and hoping for the best, which, usually that's good enough, but
3 and 256 of things. I've been zapped for ribbons.
So, important difference there. So, the RNG for single target, single hit things is different than AoE things.
Oh, is it?
So there is a safe location guaranteed in your lineup. It basically, for single target, single hit, there's going to be one guaranteed position in your party that doesn't get assigned one of those 3 and 256 values.
Is it random? Or is it always the same?
It's random. Sometimes you have to science it out, and that's scary. But really, sciencing it out usually means that you've accidentally into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just going all One Punch Man on the... Or I guess in this case it'd be One Punch Woman at this point.
These are the Valkyrie of Light sprites?
Yes. Yes, they are.
I'm not super familiar.
I use them. That's why I can recognize it. If you watch the race at 9, you'll see them on my end. Yeah, I either do that or use the... I think it's Warriors of Light done by someone on our Discord. It's in the Sprite Compendium. On the Randomizer.
And just to call that out, yeah, at 9 p.m. Eastern on Final Fantasy Randomizer's Twitch channel, we will have Papadux versus Shadow tonight. So,
Which will be my first restreamed race.
Diggity dang.
Yep.
So one of the great mind games of Dab is when you mark off things, because you have to mark them off in a timely fashion. Seeing the take 1 black belt to level 25 tile lit up at what are we, 18 minutes in? That's some information.
Now that probably tells Canuck where Chanigan's currently sitting.
Yep. Canuck opting to do his checks of the Cardia Isle. That's an Opal +2 bracelet. That's a real nice find.
Yeah, it's very nice. Let's hope I don't. I'm just hoping I don't accidentally, equip because there's some of the tiles are don't equip, only equip cursed stuff, or don't use houses and stuff. I've seen, although that one might have been taken out.
So Canuck making the journey down to visit Bahamut. It looks like Zombie D's with Poison Touch, not a big deal.
Does he have the
decent-ish experience? He does not, but he doesn't need the tail for what he's doing.
Yeah, if he's grinding walls, then yeah.
He's got to get that Visit Bahamut square out of the way. So, realistically, as long as he can run his way up there, it's fine.
Oh, he's just gonna go talk to Bahamut already, just to...
Yep. Got to get that square marked down, so...
I probably would have done it. Well, I guess if you don't find the tail, then yeah.
Well, I mean, the other thing is just, marking it off the list, getting that taken care of. Oh, I see now. The pop grind was not just the levels, it was about getting 12 total giants.
Oh yeah, and that makes sense, actually.
Nothing terribly important out of this Cardia check so far, which is kind of unfortunate. There was a Coral Sword, but Skipping the Marshy one because there's 3 chests and entirely too much walking.
Yeah. I think we're gonna see a waterfall play.
There was one fight on the walk. It was a 3-pack of Zombie D's with Poison Touch. So, nothing too significant.
Yeah.
Here we are with the Grand Sailing Expedition.
The Grand Canoe Sailing. Yeah. Jeez. Pickle in my throat. Yeah. And just
So there is a tile that I think was on last night's board, but not on tonight's, which was the save in the lake north of the waterfall.
Oh, yeah.
Which, always a favorite of mine. A lot of people don't realize it the first time playing through the rando, or, for quite a while. There's no real reason to find out. But if you exit the waterfall and then you just head north, it turns out that the waterfall is basically like one of the holes on the Bahamut Islands, so you can sail up the waterfall into that lake area.
Isn't it? No, the Topher door is unlocked, isn't it?
The Topher door is unlocked, so the key will not be needed for that. However, it will be required for Chanigan for the TFC check.
Yeah. And we also have Levels 3 Nuke. I don't know if that was already said.
I don't know if it was said, but I've been seeing the nukes.
Yeah. And definitely not bad spell layout. Yeah, cast every elemental spell. That's gonna be fun. Does that have to be in one battle? Or just in general?
For which one?
Cast a spell of every elemental.
That's over the course of the game.
Alright.
Casting that all in one battle would be challenging.
Yes, that would. So we just pray that Bane does not land in.
The robot has the ship.
Yep.
Oh baby.
Great. Oh well, no. I can't remember. Does Brack count as poison?
Brack is Earth, I believe.
I said Brack.
Oh, Brack is poison. Yeah.
Okay, the one with Bane. I'm used to like the remakes where they're actually two different elements. If I remember correctly, or something similar. Yeah, Brack is poison, as well as Bane. So we just pray those don't land a little late.
Well, we'll see. There's always the possibility of needing to promote in order to get the spells and seeing what happens out of that. The real pain is if you're thinking about having to cast a spell of every element on enemies. You only have Zap is your time spell.
No,
Zap, stop, and yeah, I think that's it. Maybe stop is status. That's the thing, is remembering all of these elements. So, I'm a simple man. Just give me a sword with a big plus or a black belt, and I'm gonna get through this. This is why I don't do dab. I'm not smart enough for that.
Let's see here. Well, non-elemental doesn't count as an element, I assume.
Right. Pickles confirming that indeed stop is time, which, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So both runners now headed on their way to everywhere. We are in the Sea Shrine. That looks like Hangry Canuck headed down in the direction of a Kraken 1, and Chanigan headed up in the direction of Mermaids and TFC floor.
Mm-hmm.
Shuffling the ribbon and the masa over to the white mage. Good job. Xcal -2. That's a feels bad right there.
Yeah. I mean, the X-Cal wasn't going to crit anything anyways.
Chanigan having the unfortunate realization of bonking a door.
Oh, did he bonk on the TFC door?
He did, and then he reset quite promptly. Which means we're going to see Chanigan reset out of the ship in just a few moments.
Yeah. Yep, that friendly chest.
That friendly chest indeed. I'm gonna be honest, as much as TFC is TFC, and I get that, it's not a great chest. I am generally more offended by what I call Earth TFC.
Oh, it's that really. It's on Earth 3, isn't it? That one that you go just straight up and then to the right.
Mm-hmm. That's the one. Kraken doing Kraken things against Hangry Canuck here. We saw Zap strats attempted, which super fun. But not pulling any punches. Did not put the kid gloves on for this, so. I agree, Rich. The only chest in Earth that I am a big fan of is the Asher Trunk, which is the one north of Vampire, due north. It always pays out. Sometimes it only pays out 350, but you get what you get.
I mean, there's also just stealing what's under the vampire's bed.
Yeah. There we saw Chanigan with the reset of disappointment.
This whole on-rack continent has just been disappointment.
The unrunnable canoe encounters, too.
Oh. I mean, I know a lot of there's a good chunk of people who like everything being runnable. Where's the fun in that?
I love everything being runnable because it makes the thief that much more viable.
True.
Actually, it adds some value to having your black mage stay up and stay lower level, which is kind of funny.
Because the Black Mage has the second best run chance.
Yes, but it also has negative luck growth compared to the run calculation. Like, you get luck, but the problem is that the equation for running, the way that it works, you actually get a lower chance as your Black Mage is higher level. It's very strange.
What?
Yep.
FF1. It's like a lot of first games. It's like a lot of first games.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
You're getting a crystal out of the fairy.
It's not the fairy.
You know, it's certainly looking right now like Canuck is going for the fill all 24 spell slots on one character.
Oh my goodness.
At least, you know, initial look.
Yeah, but he has to promote first. He has to find that tail.
Right. Which means a second trip down to Bahamut.
Yep. And Chanigan's, walking over those good old marsh damage tiles.
Well, we've got a translated slab. We do have the tile for the Lupa Lupa-ing, but instead Chanigan's getting the key and we'll probably head straight back over to Onrak.
And find out. And we'll see what will be in TFC. Can we get some predictions? I'm gonna say 2 gold. Because I think it's like... Is it 2 or 10 gold in vanilla? It's something like really low.
I honestly don't remember the vanilla values, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 5 gold chest just to rub it in. Oh, Chanigan making the proximity play for Crystal, it looks like. Canuck, meanwhile, is fighting some wizards.
Oh, there's
our tail, okay. Alright, so Canuck in ice, headed down floor 2.
Where was the bottle again? I don't remember. Do we have notes being taken?
I don't have that particular note. However, I'm sure that there is somebody who remembers. Katana plus 100, if only. If only.
Well, there is a way to do that.
Wow.
It's because you gotta edit the JSON file and then load it back up and not adjust anything.
Oh, we see Chanigan doing the Bahamut Isle overworld.
Which is gonna hurt him a bit.
Yeah, you know, you get the nice marsh tiles here, which are damage tiles and can kill you in this flag set.
You know what? I assume you're allowed to reset off of them after doing it. I know there's some things where, like, you have to sell a ribbon and then save after, so you can't, save Scummy Ribbon back.
Miss Micah indicating that Chanigan may have missed a tile on the first island on his trip here. I don't know, but if that is something that comes up in contention, we can definitely catch that on a run back. We can review the footage.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a bit small. I mean, I say a bit small. Yeah, I have 20/20 vision, so that should be no problem for me. But nah.
So Canuck lighting up to do a full lap of Ice Floor 2, which, that sends a signal to Chanigan of where Canuck is at, what he's doing, what he's about to find, since Chanigan's already done that.
Alright, question.
I believe Ice was the ribbon.
Yes, Ice had the ribbon instead of just... which floor is floor 2?
Floor 2 is the giant square.
Oh, just the giant square. Like, is it the floor we're on currently, or the one above?
It's the It's when you walk in, you go down the first staircase, that floor.
Oh, okay,
the
so
giant square.
Ah, yeah, okay, that floor. Because there's a lot of different, like, I've looked at maps of the game, it's just like, when I was doing a entrance, and floor shuffle, trying to take notes, like, alright, what floor is this? And I confused floor, I think, 3 and 4, or 5, in Volcano. That was not fun.
Right, so we're seeing Chanigan in Earth. Checking out some bats. Oh, we talking to some bats. So now we're kind of looking at row 4 here.
Yeah.
At least considering it. You know, the downside is he eliminated the diagonal bottom to top by talking to the Lefenish after translating the slab.
Yeah, he did kind of do that. Also, yeah. Yeah, and would that? Yeah, and what would be the penalty for missing a tile? Would it be a DQ or would it be timeout?
So there was an effort made during the planning of this to remove things that would DQ you, or rather, remove things that that were hard to deal with once they were done. That would like dock time, I think, because I know that there was there was an incident in one of the early races of DAB last year where somebody was restricted to only using tents, no cabins, no houses.
Oh.
And then burned through an inventory of, found cabins and houses. Had not bought any, but, just finding some along the way. And threw away, like, a lot of time.
Oh, Braxel late.
Ooh, that's a thing, all right.
All right, Connect needs to find that bottle. Did someone actually say where the ball? Even other people are asking where the ball is, so I'm not the only one. Not currently. I have to defeat Chaos again. Anyway.
I think Sage's was the rod. Chanigan, figuring out his strategy for leveling up that black mage now. This is a decent enough way to go about that. One of the other flags I noticed when I was looking through the flags earlier today is enemy morale is scaled with the scaling percentage. So,
oh boy,
that's kind of an interesting thing sometimes. It can make some things that normally would run away very easily not run away at all, and it can make some things that don't typically run away get out the way pretty quick. So that can be an interesting challenge when you have a black belt in particular.
Yeah.
Designing your strategy of going through a dungeon based on the assumption that, oh yeah, most of these things will run from me, or nothing here will run from me, and I can use these for, experience on my mages. Suddenly that gets thrown off a little bit. So,
and that includes all the bosses too, if I remember correctly.
So the bosses have a 100% floor on their stats, so they will only ever go up. That makes fear strats a little bit trickier.
Okay, yeah.
But the enemies themselves have a lower floor on their stats. So
it'd just be funny to see Chaos just
actually
run.
If I'm looking at the right flags here, 70% is the boss stat floor. So maybe it's a little lower, but enemies are as low as 50%. So. Yeah.
Canuck doing with these wolves?
Canuck is mostly, I think, getting tranced by them, or otherwise stunned. I don't know why, but...
Yeah, are they, like, unrunnable?
Is there a square that I just haven't seen? No.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for!
Oh, wait. Cast a spell of every element on enemies, perhaps. And just like, oh, hey, you know, these won't kill me. But that square has been lit up on Canuck's side.
Wait. I guess Bane must have been somewhere really lower. Oh. Looks like we have a raid coming in.
Desfero, thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody, to one of the Final Fantasy Randomizer Winter Dab matches. We're watching Chanigan versus the Hangry Canuck. If you're not familiar with double anti-bingo, the short version is you pick one row for your opponent to complete, and one row for yourself to complete. The row from your opponent is picked at the beginning before we start the race. You pick whatever row you want in addition to that afterwards. So row, column, diagonal. But so here's I think this is still, you know, from a key item perspective, some catch-up as we get Adamant out of Astos here. Chanigan already having done that, but Chanigan continuing to level up to get to the point where he can get Brack. The black belt finally hitting 42.
It makes me wonder what level Bane was at.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, we don't have, like, do we have... Oh, never mind. I see what row he has to defeat Kraken with Brack. That's why he's getting Brack charges.
Mm-hmm. Brack and the Kraken is always a... it's a favorable gamble given enough Brack charges, but having to re-dive that is a very large concern. The real problem here is I think the Black Mage is the lowest level of his party. But he's now up to the point where he's 43-ish on the Black Belt and 27 on the Black Mage? Well, Black Wizard.
And I'm trying to remember.
I think he's got like 2 or 3 charges of level 8.
You know, I'm trying to remember when the Black Wizard gets. Yeah, 25 is the first level 8 charge.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so back onto the great chest hunt. We now have the key, we won't bonk off that door again.
Practically 10 gold.
It was practically 10 gold, yep.
It was 241, it was 10 off from being perfect. Yeah.
Hangry Canuck running through our fabulous Ordeals maze.
It's always randomized. Yeah.
You know,
it makes
sometimes it's not, and it's not usually for like mystery seeds to really throw somebody off, quote unquote, but what it results in is somebody figures it out after the first teleporter room, and then they're like, oh yeah, you just do the vanilla.
Yeah, I was going to say. Interesting, leaving the trap tile test in Ordeals instead of getting it up
there
here.
There is, in fact, the bottom right tile is defeat every trap tile in Ordeals.
Oh.
So, if that is of concern, which I don't know why it would be.
Yeah.
That's not a great position for Canuck based on the current layout of the board.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Canuck hasn't really committed to anything so far outside of the required row.
Yeah, which he's almost done with.
Getting the herb out of ordeals. Chanigan on the Great Treasure Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Which, is this a horizontally flipped mermaid? It is. Ah. No.
Why
I
is
don't
it?
like it.
Isn't everything horizontal?
It's a 50-50 chance for the horizontal.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. I always thought it was just. Well, actually, I think in the practice team, my thing was.
I mean, Shimbabi, that's because you do a lot of flipped. That's just how you roll, and that's okay. You do you. What I would really like from Chanigan here is go ahead and hit up all the talk to the mermaids ones, in part because Bubbles needs to die. But
yeah, Bubbles gets in the way a lot.
There's a reason that I say that you have to carbonate Bubbles to validate the seed. Hey, there we go.
Now, I have a question. Since we were talking about, getting rid of Bubbles, Hooray Dwarf Warrior. What's your opinion on Tyra?
On Tyro?
Yeah.
I mean, food not friend. I don't use alternate sprites ever, though. ADR, it was the herb that was in ordeals.
Yep. Good old Herb. Don't know why it was changed in the re-releases.
What did it become in the re-releases? Like Zap Juice or something?
Jolt Tonic is what it is in the art versions, like the
Monster.
GBA.
It's a can of Monster. All right. You gotta give the Elf Princess 4 Loco, or he's just not gonna get up.
Yeah, the question is he like smelling the herb to get up, or are we playing it as? Because the Jolt Tonic, obviously, you have to pour it down his throat.
I mean, I'm just gonna assume it's like Roman Red from History of the World.
Tea leaf. It's a tea. Sure, we'll go with that. There are many types of herbs, though.
Yes. Chanigan on the flipped Kraken floor.
Ah, yes, flip Kraken floor.
It's time to bracken some Kraken.
Yes, time to brack the Kraken.
We've got some Invis 2 coming out because otherwise that Black Wizard is not long for this world sometimes. Ineffective on the first shot. 313 damage out of Kraken on that swing at the black belt.
Attempt number two.
Broken into pieces. All right. That is a moral victory right there for Chanigan.
Mm-hmm.
Did Chanigan forget to mark his TFC and Mermaid floor chest? It appears Chanigan has realized the error in the walking and has gone back to the island. I don't know if somebody reached out to him from the commission or whatever, but and there is the open every chest on TFC and Mermaid. I guess he must have just forgotten to mark.
Yeah, that's interesting. How would he have found out that?
Maybe he realized. Maybe one of the fine folks of the planning committee reached out. I don't know. I don't see anything in the race room, which is a usual way that runners will get communicated with. But
yeah. Yeah,
That is a filling up a spell book right there. All 24 slots filled up for Chanigan's Black Mage.
nice.
Which does solidify that column 2 is what Chanigan had decided on for his second.
Oh yeah, and he's hanging over the Topher.
He is ready to go with a fully functional, operational Punch Mage in his party. Off we go. And that's got to be a little concerning for Hangry Canuck right now, who is going through Earth.
Oh boy. Yeah, before we saw Chanigan or Topher, I was going to mention something funny. Another funny thing about the remakes is Warp was changed to being known as Teleport, and Zap was changed to Warp, which I don't get why.
To confuse and delight.
Yes.
So there, Chanigan plays the timpani. Our multi-instrumentalist Seraph flag coming into play again. Yep. 6-pack of slimes, man, that'd be real helpful for Hangry Canuck right now.
Yep.
Oh, our good buddy Jim. We got the Chimera and the Chimera. I love Jim. He's a wonderful person. Get some worms, running away. We don't need no experience here. We're on the charge. Canuck, meanwhile, headed through to the vampire.
Yep. Which makes me one. Oh, I think we're going to kick a lich.
I think you are correct.
I honestly would have tried to do it in Topher.
I agree generally. Unless you have concerns about keeping your party around.
I guess. Because, you know, Lich could pull a vanilla script first turn nuke on you.
Right.
No, I don't no, because is Lich weak to Quake?
Lich does definitely like to eat his cake from time to time.
I know. I'm trying to remember if he resisted or not. Or is weak.
He does not resist.
I meant weak. That's 25%.
25%. That's a good chance.
Yeah, because I don't think he is. I know in the remakes he's not quote unquote weak, but you know, Lich 1's M defense is, well,
yep,
kind of trash.
All right, there's one chest.
There's
two chests.
Wait, was that a pro cape in that chest?
Seemed like.
That seems. I can't remember. It's either that one or the one on the left is the normal one. And I think he's heading towards the one that has the katana in it in vanilla. The second one? The second katana? I can't remember.
Vanilla chests are vanilla, and I don't play vanilla. Well, there's 3 chests on the carry 2 floor. That is all of the required row and column stuff for Chanigan. So he is good to go.
A's cake.
Always love eating cake for a lich. So now all that Hangry Canuck has left is to get the slimes taken care of.
You might bank on Topher. Meanwhile, if you go into the left room, go left and down because there's a door downwards. There's a little room that has another chest in it.
Canuck's thinking about this one. At the very least, he's going to stop and restock.
Yeah, unfortunately, he really does not have the time to think. Because Black Belt go burr.
Well, let's see how well the Kraken floor
sea
goes.
snakes with damage poison.
Yeah, a little scary. That said, all of those supplemental levels that Chanigan had to get. Chanigan also realizing, oh yeah, I did all that equipment juggling just before I reset out of that key door bonk.
Yeah. I don't know how many he's in total killed so far. Yeah, but I think Canuck's doing it. It's the second floor that has them, right? The slimes, or is it third? In Topher. Topher's floor arrangement is weird.
I think it is technical second. It's in the long run after the loot lock.
So that floor that he was just on the short room. Yeah, because this is the one with the gassies and the badmen. And that's Kraken 2 just dead. Oh, maybe it is on this floor. Canuck's running back and forth.
I am gonna trust that Canuck knows the encounters well enough for this. Was that a Blaze Evil Man? I think that was.
Oh boy.
Well, here's Tia 2.
Well, here's Tia 2.
With a stop hitting the Black Mage.
Fast one off, though.
Okay.
And, yeah. 15 hits for 1100. Yeah, I don't think
well, here's a Chaos Floor.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that flag's turned on.
So we have encounters on the Chaos Floor. So far, not getting any of the particularly bad ones. It's okay.
I'm kind of sad. I've looked at what's on there, because if you hit the question mark on the randomizer site, you can see what's down there. I'm sad. Why do we not have war mech potential down there?
That would just be cruel, so
I play forward back on leash on the archipelago.
Hey, that's a very different environment than a tournament setting, so...
Touche, I will give you that. This is a tournament setting. For fun, it's definitely fun. Until he's unrunnable.
Right. Well, and the other
die.
thing is with Archipelago, you could be putting on save on game over, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you, the bottom tier, for raiding with your party of 7. Yeah. We are rapidly approaching the end of this double anti-bingo match as we see both runners in the Temple Fiends revisited. Chanigan on Chaos.
Yeah, Chaos is going to have to bust something out. Or it's going to be the end. Fire 2 is not what Chaos would be looking for in this situation.
Well, chip damage is a thing here, but there is a Terminated.
But there's Black Belt. That is a GG.
Sub-hour.
Sub-hour.
GG Chanigan.
Yeah. It's definitely very much a.
And Canuck forfeiting, having seen his opponent win.
Yeah.
Just gonna see if the runners want to join us in the booth here. Talk our ears off a little bit.
Talk our ears off. Ah. Yeah. That was quick. Oh, we have a Chanigan.
Hello.
GG Chanigan.
GG's Chanigan.
Thank you. Oh,
so,
too bad. Except that Brack.
The Brack was definitely rude.
Yeah.
We've got Canuck in here too. Hey Canuck. GG.
Yeah, GG Shan.
GG Canuck.
I knew the second the stats on the Fiends and I seen you had a black belt, I knew there was no chance of me winning, so I just kind of a bit.
How many slimes were you missing?
I think I only hit 3 the whole time. I was hoping, I was praying to pick them up on the Topher because I know they'll drop there.
Yeah. I think I saw 2 of them in Marsh and a 6-pack in Topher, and that's about it.
Yeah, Marsh wasn't very friendly.
But when's
yeah,
Marsh ever friendly?
Waterfall wasn't very friendly.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Ice
reset
Cave
of
wasn't very
frustration.
friendly.
Yeah, Chad. How about that?
Seems everywhere I went wasn't very friendly.
Yeah, a lot of dead ends. Like
I did
nothing...
definitely feel bad about the ship at the robot situation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like maybe. I'm like maybe Key's there, maybe because I bounced on the TFC chest because I forgot that was a thing.
I figured I'd take out Kraken 1 while I'm up there. Nope, he had other ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kraken was doing Kraken things.
Yeah. But oh boy, that Brack. Of course, it landed level 8.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of messed up because I didn't see that diagonal line at first.
Oh, I
So I
wanted
was
to
trying to
do.
fill all 24 spell slots on the Black Mage, and realizing without the tail and the class change, that's going to be impossible.
Mhm. Yeah, I wanted to do R4 at some point, but like I was committed for C2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
top grind right away to get rid of the giants.
Yeah.
yeah. I grinded in ice on the ice with heat and squint. Thank God for that ribbon. I was so scared. Like, if I got 3 to 56 or whatever, my grind's done.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
Yeah, I know I found 2 ribbons.
I think I opened what 10 chests max. Oh no, wait, more because of the sea shrine, TFC and mermaid floor. But I think I reset out of it anyway.
Yeah, I was kind of unsure on a few of the squares. Like, do we have, like, when I talked to the Leftnish without using the slab, could I reset back to my airship, or did I have to save?
No need to save.
Yeah,
Those
see,
that
I'm
you
gonna
need
have
to
to save and
save.
walk back.
Yeah, those that you need to save are specified in the description.
Oh well, that's what happens when you don't practice.
That's sub-hour. I'm happy. Could have been faster if, I didn't bounce on TFC floor.
And then
Well, I was trying to figure out if I cast a spell of every element. Me.
And yeah, and missing one tile on the forest Cardia Isle. Thanks, ADR, for pointing that out.
Yeah, there were certainly a few questions from chat as we went through, just wondering about certain encounters that were taken and whatnot. The wolves outside of Elfland, as Canuck was finishing off the every element of spell. The TFC grind was a little bit of a question for me, and then I was like, oh yeah, the giants. As soon as the tile lit up, so it's one of the interesting things, at least for me, in the booth here, is trying to keep up with the board meta and the actual action that in the run.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things to track.
That, and I mean, understanding like that there's a mind game that you two are playing with yourselves based on what checks you prioritize and how you light up the card.
Yeah.
So.
No, I really love Dab. I think it's one of my favorite format, if I can say that. It's a lot of mind games and trying to give your opponent not necessarily the hardest one, but the one that, well, the one that he might struggle the most.
Well, I was kind of hoping the key was going to be buried deep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you had good luck on that one, Canuck, with the Brack landing at level 8. So Chanigan had to spend a fair amount of time grinding up that Black Mage to have charges.
Yep.
And I don't know why I went with 2 charges. I'm like, if it doesn't work, I reset, lose 2 to 3 minutes, going back to crack again, try again, and I was so lucky that it landed on the second try.
Yeah, I know you remember what the chance of Brack even landing on Kraken is.
Oh, it's what, 30%, 25, something like that. It's decent, but 14%. Okay.
I think I landed Quake second round, I think, on Lich.
Yeah, but Lich is like 25%.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Lich is something. Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't paying very attention to the diagonal row because I was trying to fill all my spell slots. And I was trying to figure out what spell did what system, and I'm like, oh my god.
That was a fun board. I'm happy we stick to this one. That was a good puzzle.
Yeah, like I said, you rolled it. I couldn't care less. I'm here for the lulls, basically. This is my first seed and probably since the last tourney, maybe, I'd say, because I took an extended break from this.
Well,
we're very, very happy to see you again. It's been a while.
yeah, welcome
When I
back,
saw
Canuck.
I was very happy when I saw your name pop up on the Dab channel.
Yeah, and I think that this was still a very good performance out of you, Canuck, in terms of being able to handle all the challenges that Dab bring up. And I mean, you were right there. You were still in Topher at the end, so it's sure the stats were not great on those fiends. However, it looked like a very competitive match from where I was sitting.
I would have had no chance on Kraken. I seen Lich too. Oh, Carrie too had Crack, Nuke, and I'm like, oh my god. And then I looked at and then I looked at Kraken doing it like max absorb, max hit. I'm like, oh god, we're in trouble.
Oh yeah, because the bats do tell you that.
Yeah, I talked to all the bats, and as soon as I seen that, I was like, oh god, we're done for. Mazza -2. No, we're.
Is it -2?
Done.
Yeah, it's on -4.
-2, and Excalibur was -2. Or maybe it was 4. I don't really remember.
It was minus.
I'd use it if it was -1,000,000, of course.
Well, at that point, you'd be doing 1 damage.
Well, I mean, you can't argue with the Masasaya.
True.
All right. Well, let's just do a quick round of final thoughts. Canuck, final thoughts on this seed?
No, Gratz Chanigan was well run, buddy. I mean, look forward to my next couple of matches. I'm basically just backing this Dab to get into kind of racing shape for the spring tourney coming up, so I figured this would be the most funnest tournament to get in because I like the Dab, but good luck on your next 2 matches, man, and thanks for the comms and the restream. Appreciate it very much, and it was actually good being restreamed and being back in the game for a while.
Glad to hear it. Chanigan, final thoughts.
Yes, thank you guys again for the restream and everything. Man, doing live restream matches is always fun, a ton of fun. And GG's Canuck, for real, man, that was fun. That was, I think, pretty close since you were in Toph, and that's that's pretty good for taking a break for almost a year. It's gonna be scary in the spring tournament.
All right, my co-com Shadow, final thoughts.
I enjoy the first time commentating, and I'll have my first restream race in a bit. Canuck, you get the honor of yeah, it's only an hour and a half away, and Canuck, you have the honors of commentating on it.
Team Scrub.
Yep, Team Scrub.
You newer people wouldn't know what that means, but hashtag Team Scrub.
Oh, I know what it means. I've watched the previous tournaments. I'm actually getting and kind of the same reason that you're in the Dab is to practice up for spring tournament, because that's what I'm gonna hopefully sign up for as well. And
All right.
Steerson, you got any final thoughts?
Well, I'm gonna take us out of here. So I want to say thank you to MathGirl718 for doing the restreaming today, ADR for the tracking, Shadow MRT241 for first-time commentary. I think you did a great job for your first time here. Looking forward to your race in just an hour and a half. I am Saracen. Again, thank you to our runners, Chanigan and the Hangry Canuck. You guys put on a great show tonight. If you like what you saw, please come check us out. Join the community. We are a very welcoming bunch. You can go to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, click on the Discord link, and join the Discord. We have things going on all the time, so you can come join up. We just finished our last Duckling Boot Camp and Derby, but we have another one coming up in just a few months. You can come join the spring tournament or see the other things that we've got going on in the community. With that, thank you so much for joining us for this presentation of the Winter Dab Tournament, Dab Revolution, and have a wonderful evening.